Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Cultural Awareness, the podcast that allow you to travel across the world. All of this from the backseat of your car, the comfort of your home, or maybe your neighbor house. Who knows? Wherever you are, welcome. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. I'm your host, Big Steph. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and it depends on whenever you are listening to this podcast. This is Big Steph. And on today's podcast, we have a crazy one, a crazy podcast. And let's dive into it, man. Let's dive into it. So, one thing is, I just found out about a tribe called the Hamar tribe of Ethiopia. And my question before we begin about talking this culture is, how far are you willing to go to show or to prove your love for your husband or for your partner, right? How far are you willing to go to prove that you really love this man or you really love this woman? In this case of the Hama culture, it's a woman having to prove that she loves this man that she's choosing for spouse or that she's choosing to be her husband. Man, that is some dedication, man. That is some dedication. But before we get to the deep part of the story, uh, feel free to contact me. Feel free to highlight your boy if you want some free commercial, you want some free shout out on my podcast. Feel free to call Big Steph at 818-814-0978. 818-814-0978, man. And we will give you some free shout out because we have some listening out there that are, listening. And why not help a young business succeed by just giving a free shout out, man? You can add your commercial to my podcast, at least for now, for free, just because I'm out here helping. You know what I mean? Now that everything is said, let's get back to the story. So, today's story is very particular because, like I said, it's coming from Ethiopia, and I wanted to go a little bit about what happened in this ceremony that they have in Ethiopia. And as you know, this is cultural awareness. We like to talk about culture, not just in Africa, but in every single part of the globe. Wherever there's a culture, there's cultural awareness podcast, right? I just came up with that. Wherever there's culture, there's cultural awareness podcast. So now, in this culture of Hamar in Ethiopia, there's two things we have to discuss, right? The first thing is what men go through as form of initiation, and secondly what women go through as form of not initiation, but because theirs is more of a test of loyalty, right? So let's start with the men. In Hama culture, mostly they have this ceremony called the bow jumping, right? Bow jumping is usually known as okoli, right? Okoli is, it's their local language. But anyway, I mean, it's in their local language, but the ceremony itself is called okoli, which translates as bow jumping. Men have to go through that initiation to become a man, right? To become a adult unmarried man. Let me precise that, to become an adult unmarried man. How does it work? Well, uh, the first thing that they do is there's a ceremony, right? You grown up and you've been training for this, and they have to jump over four ball, I believe. They have to jump over four ball without falling down, like, right? So it's pretty much jumping from ground when walking on top of four ball aligned and landing on the other side. They have to do it back and forth four time, and after the fourth time, they become a man. Obviously, they also have other rituals that are part of it. It's not just about jumping the ball, but the ceremony is known as okoli, meaning ball jumping. And after that, they go on the mystical side, right, where the boy will be ready now to be married one day whenever he chooses. Now, why is this important? Is because the same way I have realized that in most part of Africa, men go through initiation and women have some sort of initiation or loyalty test, right? So for example, in my culture, we go through initiation too. You know, some part of Cameroon, the initiation is about like uh not cutting your genitals, but it's more about like circumcision when you get to the age of 10, or to the age between 10 and 15 years old, so you can know that this life is not easy and that there's going to be time where you will feel pain. So that is like the ultimate the how do you call it, optimum or ultimate, whatever, who cares, man, we didn't go to college for school anyway. So there's what they call the ultimum test, which is pretty much having that circumcision done, obviously followed by some mystical or traditional ceremony with ancestors and things like that, right? That, those parts are sacred. We are not allowed to talk about, especially in my tribe. We are not allowed to talk about what goes in there. But what you need to know is circumcision. Especially if you went through the ritual, you are not allowed to talk about it. Apparently, if you talk about it, you will die. So, that being said, I'm trying to leave. So, let's talk about the initiation part. The initiation part is more about circumcision. This you will see that in most African tribes they do this, right? In South Africa, you will find it with the Xhosa tribe. Xhosa is it start with the X, but you really like it. It's a Q, like the Xhosa. You know what I mean? But anyway, my point is, in every part of Africa, you have some type of initiation going on for men. And now for the Hamar tribe is bow jumping, traditionally known as Okoli. Now, you go through the initiation, you become a man. At one point, you will become old enough to have a wife, right? So while the initiation is going and everything, you have a lot of women that line up with like branches of tree, like thin branches of tree. Now, when we say thin, it's not that it's very light to wear. It's not gonna hurt. It hurts, right? Because you see, the point of me using saying that is because you will see when the men are going through the initiation, there's going to be a line of women that will come up and line up in front of him, begging him to beat them, begging him to beat them with those sticks. Why are they doing so? Why will a woman come in front of you? She doesn't even know you, and she will beg you to beat her with those sticks. Well, now let's go back on woman's side. Remember at the beginning of the show, I asked you, how far are you willing to go to prove your love or your loyalty? Well, in the Hamar tribe, women during the bowl ceremony pick and choose the men that they feel like they want to marry. And whenever they pick those, not pick, but like they look at them from afar, they probably already know their family and things like that. And when they come at their initiation ceremony, they beg these men to beat them because that is the ultimate loyalty test. That if he decides to marry you, you will be the most loyal and faithful woman that he can possibly find on the face on the planet. And we have situation where women, it's not just one woman, it's most of them. They will be like, the men will take the stick, and trust me, those men don't want to beat just every woman. Obviously, you want to be the one you are attracted to because you know that one day she could be your wife, especially after the ceremony, after your initiation. Because after your initiation, now you are allowed to walk with women. Now you are allowed to ask to marry. Now you have a voice. Now you can speak in front of the elders, because until you go through the ball jumping ceremony at the men, you are not really allowed to talk with the elders like that. When they are having a conversation, you sit way far in the back and let initiated men speak, right? So now after the ceremony, you become a man. You have a voice now. You can speak. You can give your opinion. And you need to have a wife later on. So these women line up and beg for these men to beat them with those thin stick, because they are showing them that they are going to be the most one. You cannot cry. You have to, like, you cannot cry. You cannot show weakness as far as I don't know. You might not cry, but you might be and things like that. No, you cannot do that, right? You have to stay there, and they are happy when they are doing it, right? And you will see women bleeding and yet be keeping a smile. Why? Because they are trying to prove to that man that they are ready to be taken in marriage. They are trying to prove that they will be faithful. They are trying to prove their loyalty. My point is, when I saw that they bleed and everything, and they still out there smiling and taking that beating, I was like, man, when you marry such wife, there's no snitching, right? It's a ride or die. You know what I mean? There's no snitching when you marry those kind of wife. A woman that went as far as taking a beating for you, like, to show that she loves you, and and she's ready and she's faithful, she's loyal till death. Man, she ain't never gonna snitch. At least, from my perspective, she ain't never gonna lie on you. She won't do anything that is ever going to harm you, right? So you definitely have her loyalty. And that is what I wanted to talk today as far as culture from another tribe is how far are you willing to show your love to your spouse? How far, especially as a woman, how, like, I don't even know what to say. Like, will you do this as a woman? But obviously, we are not here to judge any tribe. We are here to admire other people's custom, no matter what they are. Because this is cultural awareness. We talk about culture. Now, that being said, let's go to the story of the day. Right? Story of the day.
Yo, boss, where is the commercial?
We ain't got none. We got to work harder.
Okay, as you know, we ain't got no commercial. We gotta work hard. Anyway, let's go back to the story of the day. So, as for the story of the day, right? The story of the day goes as follow, right? There's this woman that is writing us because she has a problem. The problem is her husband, whom she being pretty much boyfriend first, and they've been married for the past 3 months. But before that, they were together for about 5 years. And this woman has a bunch of friends that they were hanging out with. And while they were hanging out, they've been hanging out for the past 4, 5 years. And the man wanted to marry her. So obviously now he married her. But now the man has one request. And that is the problem of this woman. The man is requesting that she no, she can no longer be friend with those friends that they've been hanging out for 5 years, because she's no longer single. They are single and they are living a single life, and he feels that they are going to, I guess, give her a certain like bad attitude or bad behavior, because she's not married and her head shouldn't be on the outside, it should be on the inside. And she's saying, but like, those are the friends I grew up with. And the man is like, yeah, I know, I understand, but at the same time, your friends are single and you are not. You are a married woman now. So he doesn't want her to be friend with women that are not married, pretty much, right? And she's writing to know what she should do, because those are the friends she grew up with. They hang out together and everything. And so that's why she's writing. And obviously, as you know, all our story has to go through the elders and the young generation. Now, this is what the other girl from the young generation said. She said that, well, this man is a thief. This man is a coward. This man is what was her expression? She said he's like a hypocrite, right? Why? Because he was hanging out with those same people for the past 5 years with a girl when she wasn't married. And now that she's married, we seen his true face, because now he wants her to unfriend, yeah, to unfriend her friends, her childhood friend with whom, or without who he wouldn't have got a girl. And she's saying that he's pretty much a hypocrite. Now, that was one of the new generation. That is our most of us. That is our way of thinking. Like, why would she have to be? Why should she have to unfriend her friend, her childhood friend? Okay, cool. So now, one of the old generation said this. One of them at least, because there's two of them. He said, "Well." The reason that man is asking her to unfriend those people is because he probably saw some behavior that he knows are going to contaminate his wife. Like maybe the friends are always going out late, they are always hanging, like they don't have anything to do, like they are partying all the time. And he wants to let his wife know, like, no, we can no longer live like in the past. We now trying to build a future. We are married, it's been 3 months and your friends are here every day, like they are still here every time when I get back from work, which is what the men say, by the way, that their friend are the ladies friend are always there at the house. And he's like, no, we can't have that. We are married, we're trying to build a future now. It's time for us to think about us instead of you hanging out every time with those single. They are living a single life, they don't have responsibilities and things like that. So uh he said that is probably the main reason. He's seeing something that is not right. And he said, if that, because he gave two hypotheses, right? He said, if that is not the case, then he probably has his eye on one of those women. And, you know, they say in law in Africa that don't have, if you are trying to be in a polygamy relationship, well, you never want both of your wives to get along, because if they get along, that means you're a dead man. If they're getting along, you're a dead man, bro. So always make sure there's some type of rivalry. Sometime offer one of your wife one gift and don't offer the other one, and vice versa. And that create a little bit of competition for your love, right? Because if they are getting along perfectly, that means you're about to die, because that is usually what happens, right? So, anyway, that was his opinion. But now, the elder said this. He said, this woman doesn't know what she wants. And we were like, well, like, she wants to still be friends with you. He said, no, she doesn't know what she wants, because of the fact that when you are married, you know that there are certain behavior you cannot do anymore. You cannot be going out anymore like that. The man is trying to take responsibility as far as building a family, having he's not saying that oh, she can never be friends with those people again. He's saying that give us time to breathe. We just got married. It's only been 3 months, and you guys are at the home like literally every week. Like, he wants to breathe with his wife. Whenever you marry, like, isn't that what people call here a honeymoon or whatever? Like, it's a time just you and your partner, right? In Africa, they say whenever you just get married, you need at least 5 years of building, right? Where you guys are building, a future together. Because whenever they say woman trouble stops the day she get married, and man trouble begins the day he gets married. Why? Because men are no longer just responsible for their life, they are responsible for their spouse, and they are responsible for family. Like, especially someone like I mean, I don't like to put myself like me, where you have a cousin calling you for this, a uncle call you for that, and on top of that, you still have to find a way to provide for your family as far as the kids that you will have and things like that. So you're trying to build a future. You don't want to rent forever. You want to one day have a place you call home. So that is when it begins. It's not when the marriage, like, it's not after 10, 20. Like, you begin at everything have to start from the get-go so that you can have a better future. And he said if she's not happy with it, then she can just divorce and go back to her lifestyle that she was having with her friend. Because at the end of the day, at one point, you have to separate yourself from your friend. You have to build your own future. You have to build your own life, because every man is responsible for his house, right? Every man is responsible for setting the tone and the rules of his household, right? Now, is it a dictatorship? No, but most of the time, there's time where the men may see things from afar and say, no, this is the direction we are going, point blank. And you, as a woman, you cannot argue with it, right? It's like, I always tell this joke of TK Kirkland. It's like you need to learn how, and which is definitely what they say in Africa. You need to learn how to obey to your husband to like the karma, right? Because you might be one day walking with your husband, and he's like, "Hey, let's duck." And you stand up and say, "Why? Why should I duck?" And boom, there's a bullet already in you, and you are dead. Why? Because you didn't obey your husband. You didn't obey your man at the time, right? So when a man said, let's dug, it's because there's probably something wrong going on in that place. That is why you need to follow your husband and not just uh, try to ask question or argue with everything that he's asking you to do. There are reasons, because man is no longer thinking just about him. He's thinking about his family. So there are reasons why he's asking you to proceed a certain way. Is it that it's a dictatorship? No. Like he's always going to take decision for what is best for the couple, not what is best for him. He's taking decision on what is best for the relationship. And as right now, if you are married, you shouldn't be looking too much like you. There are women that are married physically, but their body and their head is on the outside, going out, coming back late, and you say you are married. Like it's just the idea of being married, the idea of being called Mrs. Such and Such that you have. But in reality, with your mind, you are still out here single. So the man is just asking you to take some responsibility of taking care of your household instead of being with your friend all the time. It's been 3 months, honeymoon is over, and now it's reality. But we have to pay those bill that we had to borrow money maybe for wedding and things like that. It's time for us to work hard to pay those back, and on top of that, start building a future so that one day in our old days we can sit back and enjoy the fruit of our labor. That is all the man is trying to say. So what do you guys think, ladies and gentlemen? What do you guys think? And while you guys are thinking of that, we're about to go on the quote of the day. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, we always give a quote here. So, as for the quote of the day, it will go as follow, right? When the root of a tree begin to decay, it spread dead to the branches. It's a proverb coming from Nigeria. When the roots of a tree begin to decay, it spread dead to the branches. If you know it, you know it. You can apply it to many aspects of your life, right? You can apply it in many aspects of your life, as far as every time the root are destroyed, whether you are growing your kid, if they don't carry that root education that you spread onto them, well, they will end up on the wrong path. That is, a branch is trying to decay. A relationship, right? You don't want your wife to be intoxicated by some so-called, you will always realize, like, single people always have like these advice. I'm not saying that they are all advice from single people are bad, but single people always have this advice as if they were the one married. You know what I mean? It's like like, I mean, I like the idea of, like, you want to talk with people, to people with experience. uh would you rather talk to a man with, I don't know, with one, like, who has no marriage experience, or with a man who have had, I don't know, a couple of divorce to where he had to learn some things? You know what I mean? Because in our society we always see failure, like, failure as something that is bad, when instead failure is something that give a lot of lesson, and uh push people not to do the same mistake they did the previously, right? So that being said, we are done for the podcast of today. Thank you for listening to your brother out, man, and feel free to give me a shout out on IG as far as BSteph77. I'm on TikTok. Yeah, I'm on TikTok. I don't even know what I'm doing, but I'm there. I'm still trying to get a hang of it. And yeah, man, if you have some workout challenge, man, I'm your guy. If you have some workout challenge, I'm your guy. Feel free to, give us some shout out, like, leave comments, And let's meet you on the next episode. I'm not Dr. Dre, but let's meet you on the next episode. Thank you.
Big Steph.